I haven't seen any like content or educator say like, you need to teach your kids how to use a phone. It's very rare that parents will do this. And so it's really as simple as before giving a phone or any device, just showing like, how do you use Google? It's quite simple. Like how to use Google. Just spend like 30 minutes just going through how to use it well and also how to use it poorly, right?
Hmm.
What it's not meant for. And that can save a lot of just confusion on the part of kids who are just like, I don't know what to do.
Welcome
Okay,
back, everybody,
welcome.
to School of Love. And yeah, this
School
is a
of
podcast where we want to help
Love.
you to create parent-child relationships where you can talk about anything and everything, especially about sex. And today, sex. It's not just sex, right? Like we want to also. Wait,
Yes.
do you find the word funny,
Very serious.
Benji?
Very serious.
Okay.
No, I'm just laughing at our difference in energy right now because I'm just like coming off of a meeting and kids inside, and I know it's like late there and your kids are all asleep, right? So,
I see. No, they're not asleep, but
oh, they're not?
yeah,
Okay.
it is evening though. Yeah. All right. That's how it is. Yeah, I have Benji on today. Benjy Uyama.
Hello.
Thanks for coming, Benji.
Always happy.
And yes, today, so yeah, it's not only about sex. We also want to keep our kids safe and well guided. So a lot of that is screens. We got to be on top of that. And so today I'm going to quiz Benji,
Mm.
a pop quiz. You ready to be popped with a quiz,
I
Benji?
have a question first.
Yeah.
How is it
Yeah. Okay.
that
You
you
ask
are
first.
in a caravan with 5 children and I can't hear any of them? What is going on?
Uh, So my very smart husband, he thought, so I was like, okay, guys, let's have dinner. Or I first I was like, let's do dishes. And he's like, no, let's save the dishes for your podcast. Cause then we're out of the caravan while you are recording. I was
Mhm.
like, awesome idea. So
So the dishes happen outside, is that right?
yes, that's right.
And it takes them a while, I assume, to
Yeah,
finish?
it
Interesting.
does.
Got it.
It does.
That makes sense.
And so they will be back. You might hear them when they come back. But we also just started a new thing that we want to do an hour of reading time all together. So maybe it'll be a bit quiet. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
All right, now I'm ready. Thank you for answering.
Okay. So yeah, I just want to quiz you just for fun. And yeah, let's talk about each of these answers
Yes.
just to see what we think about them. So, first question, number one. Under what age does the World Health Organization recommend no screen use?
This is an actual quiz
Does it actual quiz? I researched
about
this
my
stuff.
knowledge about my knowledge on parenting. Oh my goodness. Okay.
No, it's not just parenting, it's real knowledge. I looked this up. But
Yeah.
don't worry, it's multiple choice. It's multiple
Yeah.
choice,
Okay.
Benji.
So repeat it
Okay.
so everyone can.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
under what age does the World Health Organization recommend
Mhm.
no screen use? Is it 5 years old, 3 years old, or 2 years old? Oh,
2 years old.
you know. Yeah, that's right.
I knew it before you even. Yeah.
Okay,
So I got
cool.
it
You knew it.
correct. All right.
You got it correct.
Nice.
So what do you
Yes.
think? Is that a good age?
Under 2 years old. I think that it is a good age, but it often causes problems because people assume incorrectly that after 2 years old, it's completely just go wild and let them watch as much screens as possible. And so it kind of it's a helpful like a parameter, but I think a lot of parents will assume incorrectly that that
Mm,
means automatically that any screens after 2 years old is good and fine and healthy. And that's like usually the justification or rationale that people kind of come up with. It's kind of like saying, like kids under what is it like 12 years old shouldn't drink coffee. That's like something that people say some countries, right? And then it's like,
okay.
okay, as soon as you're 12 years old, that means you can drink coffee. Or a better example would be alcohol, right? Like that's
Alcohol.
be
Yeah.
real. Like in the US, you're 21 years old, you can drink alcohol, which means that you're reasonable, you're responsible, and you can drink as much alcohol as you want, and it's perfectly fine and normal. And if you're 20 years old, or if you're like one day away from 21 years old, that means you're not responsible enough. It's like arbitrary nonsense when the rule is supposed to be a guideline, not a rule that must
Exactly.
be followed like to a T, right? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. On point. I agree. Yeah, in Germany, they have this rule. It actually rhymes in German. It's like no screens till 3 or something. But yeah, same thing. I mean, 4-year-olds also can't quite deal with screen time on their own. So
No.
yeah, we just have to be like aware. It's just kind of like the golden rule. Like this
Hmm.
is an absolute no. I think that's what
Yeah.
they were getting at, the World Health
Right.
Organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for number 2.
Okay.
What is the highest average mobile screen use, so cell phone use,
Hmm.
for a country? So there's one country, they're
Yeah.
on the top. So is
Shoot.
it 7 hours, 5.5 hours, or 4 hours?
4 hours.
It's 5.5 hours.
5.5. Dang. That
Yeah,
is. Does it have the country listed?
that's the next question.
Or if I have to guess the country?
Yeah, you're gonna have to guess the country. Should we go straight to that?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so which country has the highest mobile screen
I
use?
know everyone's going to assume
This
the US, but I don't think that's true. So go ahead.
Okay, so that's one option. USA,
Yeah.
Brazil, or Philippines?
Oh my gosh. I don't think true. That's really hard. What do you guys think, audience? I want to say
Yeah.
Philippines because it's a very young country. There's a lot of young people
Hmm.
and they're growing up
Mm.
in kind of like coming out of third world poverty. There's a lot of poverty. And so I want to say Philippines, but at the same time they work very hard. Like when I was there last year, it's surprising how like you go to the airport and it's just like teenagers are running the whole show in the
Wow.
Philippines. Like actual
Wow.
teen, they look young, but then I was talking with our guide there, our chapter leader, and he was like, "Yeah, these are actually teenagers, like 15, 16-year olds
Wow.
doing the security at the airport." I was like, where are the where? Because I was just coming from Japan, which is the opposite problem, where all the workers are older, right? And I was like,
Mm.
Ravi, where are the old people? And they're like, they're at home. It's nighttime. They're at home. And then the next day, I was like, all young people all over like driving, and I was like, where are the old people? They're at home. And so the old people stay home, and so that makes me think that the USA makes me feel because I grew up and I live in the States, so I'm very observant of the screen culture here. So I want to say that's really high. And the other one was what was the other one?
Brazil.
Option Brazil. I don't know. I've been there once when I was 6 years old. I know that it's a very kind of can be kind of westernized societies. I'm gonna go Philippines. Final answer.
Wow. I'm impressed, Benji. Yeah, that was right.
Is it?
And
Okay.
yeah, it was right.
Yeah.
And I think I really appreciate your background knowledge because it is really demographic based because
Hmm.
the screen time it is with the youth and like I wasn't so aware of what you just said that they have a high demographic of teenagers and young people and those
Hmm.
are the screen users. So Brazil was also one of the top and I think yeah, USA as well, but um uh, these other countries they just don't have so many teenagers. And South Africa was also really high, I have to say, but there was a separate sort of survey or what do you call it? Statistics of screen use, including computers. So
Hmm.
people could just be working on their computers.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
this specific one was really mobile screen use.
Okay. This makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I
That's a good
think,
question. Yeah.
yeah. But I think it is really like it doesn't necessarily mean the youth of other countries are using it less because
Hmm.
they're taking into account that 60-year-olds might be just spending 2 hours on their phones, whereas teenagers, 7 hours. So this is an average
Yeah.
of, 18 plus.
I do know that in more poverty-ridden countries, there's a general let's say everyone, but there's a generalized kind of belief in the part of parents that screens are good for children, which is
Hmm.
a very, very different kind of mindset that like you and I come from. Screens are meant to be
Yeah.
used, intentionally. And most of what's going on in the internet is pretty much garbage. But I've even talked with parents who are like really adamant about their kids using the screens, especially tablets. And it turns out that it's actually a very common belief that parents think this is good for my kids. They're learning about technology. They're learning about the future. They're learning, they're getting themselves educated about whatever. And so they kind of have a different energy of like pushing, almost encouragement,
Wow.
like please be on your screen more, in addition to the benefits the parents get from like having their kids being zoned out on a phone. So it's like a double benefit for parents, they believe. It's unfortunate, but I think it's a real reality that parents do believe that is completely mostly false. So there you go.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there's so many different cultures that influence it, and what you said just brought to mind that, like, when I'm not in this caravan, we live in a small town in Germany, in
Uh-huh.
Bavaria, and, it's pretty German, like, not so international, but I feel also friendly to the international people. But close to us is Ingolstadt, and this is a bigger city, not a huge one, but
Mhm.
you definitely see when you're there, like, okay, this is a city and it's big. And so we have a kindergarten in our little village and then a kindergarten in the big city. It's already such a difference in the culture there. And also with the screen use, like what kids talk about. Like, I feel already in the small village, not so international, there's such a high awareness, like you said, like we know, okay, screens are too much
Mhm.
use is not healthy for our kids. And people are really aware of this when I talk to parents. Whereas in the city, it's more international. And like kids are talking about some TV series called Wednesday in kindergarten, So they're definitely like watching more TV and on their
Mm.
phones more already in kindergarten. So it's just
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, already
And those
in
are
one
very different,
country
like
there.
different culture or like classes, would you say? Like
Yeah.
socioeconomically, they're kind of very different as well.
Yeah. And they look at the phone use differently somehow.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I
Moving
I
on.
okay, yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, no, tell me, what was you gonna say?
Well, it's just like this is the thing that keeps coming up with parents. Is like I'm talking with parents, they're struggling with their kid who's becoming a teen or is already a teen. It's like, oh, they're always on their phone or they're always in their room. And I'm like, I get that. I mean, I grew up in this world. We grew up in this world. I was a teen and I did have, a phone or I had devices, let's say, when I was a teenager. It wasn't a smartphone, but we had devices, we had computers, we had laptops, we had video games, right? So it's not foreign to me, but after going through that and raising my own kids, it's like just make hard rules. It's like kids bringing their freaking phone. Sorry, excuse my language. Let's be posh here. People bringing their devices to church, for example, right? And the
Mm,
parents are like, "Oh, I wish my kid." And it's like, and of course, all the kids kind of gravitate towards the phone because one kid has a phone and they're gonna like start playing a game. And I was like bringing this up to the parents. I was like, "Can you just not let your kid bring their device to church? It's really distracting. It's not the point of being a community." And they're like, well, we can't. I'm like, where did parents get this idea that they can't? It's not about control to me, because that's what we think when we think of like screen time, quote unquote, is either you need absolute control or you need absolute, what's the opposite of control, of freedom, right? And so
mm,
parents tend to think in two dichotomies. Like either I have to be super hyper controlling and we know where that goes, right? Kids become very like reserved and isolated and they don't understand anything and then they kind of go at their own and they make a bunch of mistakes. Or on the other extreme, which is absolute freedom, and then we know how that goes, is they find a bunch of stuff in porn and stuff in the internet and they have no impulse control or emotional mood regulation. But we don't understand there's always a healthy medium. There's always a
right.
healthy medium when it comes to parenting. There's always a healthy medium. And that's like, I feel like that's what we're talking about here in School of Love. We're trying to help people find that healthy medium instead of being afraid of one or the other. Because that's very
Mhm,
lazy thinking, actually. It's very human to think that way. It's like, we have to do this or we have to do this. The healthy medium is always to teach. It's always to teach lovingly. It's always to educate. It's always to have conversation. It's always to have give and take. That's the healthy medium we're talking about. It's a balance, right? We're trying to balance these two worlds of giving autonomy and freedom, but also having structure and ground rules because kids love structure. If you haven't noticed this, right? Kids love structure. Parents many times are afraid of imposing structure because they're afraid of like pushback or kind of um, arguments and fighting and stuff, but kids love it when you have a structure. Maybe in the beginning, it might be a little bit different because you're interrupting a different structure. Does that make sense? Like if a kid
yeah,
has the habit of being on the phone anytime they want, whenever they want, and then you create a structure that says, okay, we only do screen time in these situations or at these times. And you have those rules and you just make them very clear. Then you're interrupting the routine they used to have, which is I can do my screens whenever I want. But turns out if you have a routine and you implement it, kids love structure. They love routine. They love ritual so much. If you don't believe me, guys, try singing happy birthday one time on someone's birthday um, without singing happy birthday. Like try doing a cake. I did this with my kids. Just try bringing out a cake with like candles and everything. Turn the lights up and just
Yeah.
don't sing happy birthday. Kids don't know how to, they just don't know how to operate. They're like, why are we singing? We need to sing because they love the ritual, right? Of singing happy
Right.
birthday. It's just part of what you do on a birthday. And so my point is that a lot of, in my family, a lot of the most difficult things that we've ever had to decide or change about like routines or habits or anything came from a simple structure that changed like absolutely everything for us, right? I'll give you one example just before we move on. Do we have more pop quizzes, by the way?
We have a few more.
Cool. Awesome. You guys are loving it. I hope you guys love this. I'm loving this. So for example, my my son was having this issue with because we're homeschooling, right? As well.
Mm.
And when we started homeschooling, like full on homeschooling, I was like, okay, guys, we're going to do recess every day because that's a really great thing to do as a homeschooling family. And I was like, if you guys aren't going outside in your homes, if you're going to have the privilege of being home, with your family all day, every day, which is such a privilege that most people don't get, you're going to go outside together and you're going to have a good time. And so everyone was in agreement with this, but we kept arguing about this because we didn't, I was like, did you guys go outside? And they were like, no, we're gonna, and then before they know it, it's already nighttime. They're like, oh, we're going to go outside. It's like, oh, it's too late. Right. And so I was like, guys, you got to just go outside, just do it. And so the structure that we made was like, okay, how do I make it so that it was my son in particular, because he's really like he loves building things. So he's like all day, like not exaggerating, he's making something like Legos or cardboard something. And then so he's doing that all day, and then before we know it, it's evening time, and so they didn't go outside. And so I told Kojin, I was like, buddy, how about this? You are now in charge of recess every day. You are the recess captain, and this is his title. And I was like, how does that sound? He's like, yeah, sounds good. Okay, your responsibility as a recess captain is to, for every single day, to go outside with all the siblings, with your sisters, and your job is to make sure everyone has a good time. And your job is to communicate, with everyone what time you're going out and what you're going to do. And you can do whatever you want outside. And so all of a sudden it turned something that I was like dragging him outside to now he's responsible for. And he does it every day because he loves doing this thing that he reminds himself. He made a reminder in our Google Home Nest thing that goes off every day at 10 a.m. It says, "Hey, recess captain, did you organize recess today?" And so it reminds him to plan recess for the day. And so that's just an example of many things in which it was like a really big point of conflict in our family. And then we just kind of made a structured routine, a rule, a system that just made it like since then, it's just been so easy. Like recess has been not a
Mm.
problem at all. Right. Yeah. I just want to share that.
Yeah, I love that. And Kojin is your oldest, right? Because I'm also thinking the oldest, they do kind of love to take on responsibility and be in charge as well. So it's also kind of a
Yeah.
win-win. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me inspired to think how I can use that in some way in my own family. Yeah, I just, I was also just thinking that, because you were saying like the super controlling rule
Mhm.
family or total freedom. And what for me is just really important is that when we communicate these rules, because we do need to communicate these rules, like when we think of a boundary or rule, it's most likely a good one. Just yeah, what I've realized is to never just suddenly make a rule out of emotion because,
Mhm.
you're so frustrated as a parent. Like
Mhm.
my child can't control their screen and
Mhm.
whatever, and so
Mhm.
no more screens or I don't know, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
important to just take a moment, maybe
Yeah.
discuss as a couple
Yeah.
and say like, "Hey, how can we get this in our hands? How can we make it healthy in our family?" And then to
Yeah.
communicate it from a point like just a heart of love, right? Like where you're in
Mhm.
control of your emotions, and then I feel like it's so much
Mhm.
better received on the kid's side.
Yeah.
So that's
I
kind
think
of
that
like the medium point.
yeah, with that heart of love is really that's really where it's at. I mean, I have observed in myself and my own kids is that anytime I'm feeling really frustrated with someone, it's almost always my son, by the way, just as a side note. It's always because I feel disconnected from him.
Mm,
And it usually
yeah.
is because we haven't spent quality like one-on-one time together. And what happens if we don't feel connected, and this applies to spouses, children, coworkers, parents, like your parents, if you don't feel connected to someone, it's so easy for us to react emotionally and judge because we're not seeing them. When I say we're not
Mm,
seeing them, I don't mean that in like a really like kind of woo woo, like I don't see you. Like it's like when you spend time with someone, like one on one, just connecting only for the purpose of connecting, then
yeah.
suddenly you get them. Like try
Yeah.
this with a coworker, guys. If you have a coworker that you just are annoyed by, try this. Try connecting with them just for the sake of that. Like not work, just connecting with them as a human. Talk about your lives and see how you change and shift in yourself, how you feel towards them. Because now you get them. That's what happens is now you can kind of see why they're like that. And so this always happens. Obviously, like marriage is an obvious one. Like if you're feeling really disconnected from your spouse, you're going to complain about them. You're going to feel agitated towards them. With my son, Kojin, it's like we butt heads the most out of anyone in our family. We're the
Mm.
only two men in our family. I call him a man. He's like he's heavier. He's bigger than my wife right now at this point.
Wow.
So we like butt heads about stuff, and the reason is because we're so similar in character, but uh, we grow up in completely different environments, and so the way that
Right.
we our personalities have developed are completely different, but our characters are very similar. And so I was like recently super getting really annoyed in him because we just moved house like a month ago now, and I was just getting really annoyed with him, and he started kind of provoking his sisters, and he does this thing where he like pokes the bear. It's called poking the bear, where you like try to get a reaction, from your sibling
Yeah.
by like making a
Yeah.
comment, just like being a jerk. Like he's like, come on, dude, you don't. He's not violent like physically, but he just like
Yeah. Yeah.
pokes them all constantly. And I was just like, I was just like, I was just noticing. I was noticing all the little things that he was doing, right? And then I took a step back and I was like, oh, number one, we're under a lot of stress because we just moved. Number two, I haven't hung out with him in a month since we moved. We haven't been to
Yeah.
the gym, which we usually do every week. We haven't been to the gym together because that's our connection point. We go to the gym together and we have a good time. I haven't biked in a month. That's another connection point we have. And so I was like, oh, our relationship is depleted such that we're not charged up with a connection that allows me to feel positivity and love and appreciation. And now all we're empty. So all I'm seeing is the negativity and the things that I don't like about him. Right. Uh, and then I was like, okay. So then I made it the next 2 days after I realized that my priority is I'm going to connect with this boy. I'm going to take him to the gym. We're going to go on walks only to connect with him. And importantly, not to teach him anything. That's a deliberate
Yeah.
thing. I was like, I'm not going to
Mm.
teach him anything. There's no lesson here. There's no, you need to change it. It's like, I just want to connect with him. And we don't have an agenda for what we're going to talk about. I laid with him in his bed for like an hour before bedtime. And we didn't even talk. It was just like him reading. And I was just lying there and I was like reading a different book. And I just kind of like give him a bear hug, like wrap my arms around his back while he's reading, right? This kind of stuff just to connect. And then lo and behold, after that, he started just improving in his relationship with his sisters. He stopped this kind of provoking because what he was really communicating through his provoking his sisters was he wants to feel full. He wants to feel connected. And he primarily needed that with me. And so anyone that's really struggling, I'm saying this because if you're really struggling with your kid and you're frustrated at them, it usually means this connection that's lacking, and that
Yeah.
spark of just spending time together. It could be as simple as spend one evening together doing nothing planned, no agenda, no meetings, no thinking, just be together, just be present, and I guarantee you the next day you will feel so much different towards them. And then on that foundation, like Amelia said, with love, you can have a conversation about phone use, about screen use. And guess what? They're going to be way more receptive to having that conversation if you're coming from a place of connection, of seeing each other, because they're going to be able to see you where you're coming from as a parent, and you're going to be able to see where they're coming from as your child. And it's going to be beautiful, right? Yeah.
Yes. 100%. This is what the boot camp is about, you guys. So if what
I
Benji just said,
yeah.
if you want that with other parents, join the boot camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the secret. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. You ready
Yep.
for question number 4?
Yes.
So, as of October 2025, the Earth's population is at
Yeah.
8.25 billion. Okay.
Okay.
So, we're
Yeah.
basically around 8 billion right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how many internet users are there out of that 8 billion? Okay. I'll give you 3 options. Is it
Okay.
3 billion, 4 billion, or 6 billion?
6 billion.
Wow. How did you know so fast?
This is a six
Have you looked
billion?
this up? Yeah, it's 6
No.
billion.
No, because I know the birth rate is decreasing, and which means that there's a more older population, and I know that more older people are
Uh-huh.
using phones, and I know
Oh,
that
so you
the age of people using phones is younger and younger, so it's just kind of logical that it's more than half is what I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I see. Wow.
Wow.
Not bad. Yeah.
I also know a
Yeah,
lot
so
about
that's
birth rates, if anyone wants to talk about that.
okay.
Yeah.
Like per country or
Yeah, it's just like
continent?
declining birth rates per country. Yeah, it's very fascinating topic. Like
Yeah.
I'm not in the whole like, oh, I'm just interested in human behavior. Like I'm very
Yeah.
astute about, how people react to birth rates. And so it's just a very interesting thing for me. Germany has very low birth rate. People don't talk about that, but that's a true fact. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why we invite
yeah,
all the refugees over. I don't know if that's the main goal. Of course, they just want to be nice. But yeah,
yeah,
keeps the population going. Yeah, but 6 billion, I mean, it's pretty
yeah.
crazy because then when you're connected to the internet, like these people are potentially there, you know? Yeah, just
Wow.
something to think about. So, according to the Children's Commissioner, what is the top way children view pornography? Is it someone showed them, they accidentally came across it, or they searched for it?
Someone showed them. Final answer.
Final answer. Okay. It's
Yeah,
actually the second one that they accidentally came across it.
accidentally. Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was
That
the
makes
highest
more sense. Yeah.
percentage. Yeah, I
I
mean
should have. Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, we know you and me know that these days children generally see it at some point.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to know how. And yeah, this was just the highest percentage. I mean, then this I can't remember what the second one was, but it's just also sad, you know, the internet is really out there to take yeah, to get
Yeah.
our kids, right? To
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's also targeting. So it's probably going to increase, right?
hmm,
It's probably going to, their number will probably increase over time.
yeah, it could be. Although I feel like there's so much going on in the world, like parents fighting back and activists, you know, trying to make this known to
Mm.
the president and so on in different countries. So, I mean, I feel there is a lot more fight now, but yeah, I don't know how that's going to look like with these big companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What is the most common device through which children experience online sexual harm? Is it a mobile phone, a tablet, or a computer?
Wow. Tablets are by far not it because most people don't have a tablet. But we're talking about children. And so children are more likely to, I hope our viewers are going through this mental process with me, right? I'm trying to get it right. That's the point of a quiz. So bear
Yeah,
with me.
yeah, yeah. You're doing
So
really well, Benji.
children are more likely to have I think, a tablet than a phone, but that's changing. But also, a lot of families have computers at their home in which children can access devices, access porn. My personal experience, I'm also referencing growing up, right? Like in these 2000s, it was absolutely going to be computer, like the family computer. Shoot.
Okay, but let's just to
Yeah.
help you, we're talking about like now, present,
Yeah. Yeah.
not the 90s.
That's the problem. I want to say, I will say phones because they're just more prevalent. They're easier to access. Yeah.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yes, lock it in.
It's a good one because it's right. Yeah, and
Oh,
I
yes.
think
Nice.
yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, because I mean, if you consider it, when I found this, I thought it also just makes sense because it's more of a privately watched device, like
Yeah.
tablets are a bit bigger and you kind of, I don't know, like share them, I think. And a computer is also generally also more of a public device. Okay, maybe
Uh-huh.
not for every family. Yeah, mobile phones. For me, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I mean, not
Nice.
nice.
Not
Nice for
nice.
me. Nice for me for getting it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's just something that we really need to consider. Like, I'm so annoyed with whoever started the fad that kids should have phones at all. Like,
Mm,
why did they start that? And then there's just so much pressure for kids to have one,
yeah.
to fit in. And I just wish we had never started this. But yeah, now we have to deal with it.
I think big tech is partly to blame. Not entirely. I mean,
Hmm.
like people will usually point to parenting. Some people point to big tech companies, but I think the phone companies and also social media companies have done a really good job at influencing our ways of thinking about these things, that they're good and healthy, and like social media is
Hmm.
healthy, and they've done quite a good job at brainwashing, for the back lack of a better word, but that's what it is, I think. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, annoying little buggers. Okay, number 7. Does defend young minds say in the first line of defense against sex trafficking? So, Defend Young Minds,
Mm,
awesome resource, right? It's the
hmm.
website and like
Yeah.
movement that came from Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, written by Kristen Jensen. So, awesome resource if you ever want to check it out, guys.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, is it number 1? So, just to recap, what do they say is the best defense against sex trafficking?
Mhm.
Preventing mobile phone use, setting strict parent controls, or you, the parent?
You, the parent.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yes.
That
Okay,
is
good.
right.
Great.
That is right.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like what we just said now. We were just talking about setting rules and so on, but this whole connection thing, it is so key. We can prevent mobile phone use completely. Um, and set these controls, but us parents having these talks with our kids, it is so essential because even if you set these boundaries, our kid can always find another way, right? So we just really have to be connected and continue having conversations with our kids about heavenly sexuality and also, yeah, what is porn and how do we be careful and what's going on at school? Like, what are kids talking about? Just stay
Mm.
connected with everything. Stay curious.
Yeah. There's if you think about a phone, it's essentially a weapon that can be used for good or for not good. And it can be very dangerous for people. We know this from many studies on mental health. It can be very dangerous for people's self-image. It can be very dangerous for people's health, physical health, just the amount of screen time, right? 5.5 hours in some places.
Yeah.
Um, so it's can be extremely, extremely dangerous, almost akin to like drugs or smoking and alcohol. And so it makes sense to me logically that if we're going to be at all introducing something of that caliber to our family, we need to teach them. And this is something that nobody does. I mean, very few people. I know, like, you do it, and like people in the like School of Love community and boot camp will do it, but I haven't seen any like content or educator say like you need to teach your kids how to use a phone. It's very rare that parents will do this. And so it's really as simple as, before giving a phone or any device, just showing like how do you use Google. It's quite simple, like how to use Google. Just spend like 30 minutes just going through how to use it well and also how to use it poorly, right?
Hmm.
What it's not meant for. And that can save a lot of just confusion on the part of kids who are just like, I don't know what to do, and I'm curious about this, and or I stumbled upon this and I don't know what to do. How to use YouTube, how to use AI, ChatGPT. These are all things that I'm teaching to my kids. Like if they want to do something, it's either yes or no. Most of the time it's no. If it's yes though, it'd be like, okay, let me show you how to do this. And I'll like sit down with them and I showed them how to use ChatGPT, for example, just an example, how to use AI well. And that's like a skill that is lifelong that they can learn and hold on to. It's really important, you know. So
Mm,
please do that,
yes.
y'all.
Please do
Yeah.
that, guys. Okay, next
Uh,
question. So
yes.
this one
Next
has
question.
more than one right answer. Okay, it's maybe too many answers, but
Okay.
okay. What are the best practices to reduce your screen time? Set clear boundaries, prioritize offline activities, use screen time management tools like an alarm,
Uh-huh.
create screen free zones, be consistent,
Uh-huh.
call Benji whenever you feel bored, or lock the phone away.
Wow. That was
That's a lot.
that's a pretty exhaustive list of really great things that everyone should do.
Yeah, especially the
Yes.
Benji one.
Especially calling Benji. Yes. You can call Kojin. You can call him. Actually, no, you can't because he doesn't
He doesn't have a phone.
you have no way to reach Kojin except on YouTube. Actually, no, you couldn't even reach him there because he has a YouTube channel where he posts Lego things, but he doesn't check the analytics or anything. So yeah, I would say all of the above. Is that the answer?
Pretty much, except lock the phone away was not really, that was just made up so that there's one false thing. And the Benji thing,
Yeah.
that was also an option up to you. I don't want to, um, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you should decide if that is really
Yeah, dude. I mean,
okay.
like for parents, like I love parenting. How do I say this? There's times where I've hated being a parent, especially even recently. And it's something I go around vocalizing, but I've had that thought in my head. Like this sometimes it's really just rough and it's not a nice experience. I would never say I hate my kids. I think we all love our kids, right? We love them. But the experience sometimes can be so rough. It can be so rough. And we have to acknowledge that. It's painfully hard sometimes to just be a parent and just to exist in this relationship. And my friends, that means you have a conscience and that means you really care. And that means that you really want to improve things. And so if you're in that boat, then I'm absolutely happy to talk and send me a message, or if you need to complain about your kid or your spouse or whatever, like I'm in it. Like I'm 100% in it. And I think anyone that has a real priority to be with their kids and to prioritize them has really battled a lot with their own demons, right? Has try to figure this out. And if that's you, then you're definitely in the right place. But we also 100% feel you. I was even at church and there was, man, I hate talking about people at church, but I feel like those are the only people I interact with. And I hope they never listen to this. But it's like, there's just some people that are so busy with work. Honestly, it's like work and life and schedules. And then I look at their kind of relationship with their kids, or I look at their kids themselves and they feel like they're starving for love. They're
Hmm.
just starving for something, attention. And because I know these parents and I look at their eyes and I know that they're not thinking about their kids.
Hmm.
All like 99% of the time they're thinking about something else. It's work or this or just how all this stuff, right? But it just feels like it's a disingenuous thing to say like, yeah, my kids are my number one priority, but then if you look in people's minds and in their calendar, it's not. It doesn't
Hmm.
reflect that. It's usually like number 2 or 3 or 4 in terms of their priorities, in terms of actually like giving time and attention and love and energy to their children. And so I just say that because like sometimes it's as simple as sometimes parents are just too busy and there's no headspace. And I want to like shake those parents and be like, just stop. You don't need more money.
Yeah.
But no, you don't. You don't need more money. Says who? But we go to all these. Okay, well, just get rid of stuff. Like just live simply, or I don't know. But there's got to be a way where people can stop being so busy. You know what I'm saying? There's got to
Yeah.
be a way in which parents can thrive and enjoy the process of being parents and just love this process. And sometimes challenging, yes, should be, because that means you're growing. But most of the time, it should just be like an enjoyable process where we just look at our kids and be like, man, this is nice. I like this. This is fun. I like
Hmm.
looking at my little kids and just being in this process, or older kids if they're older, and teenagers, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it should be most of the time just enjoyable, and we should just be present. I had this thing this week. I was on the trampoline with my youngest daughter, right? She's 3 years old because I have 3. And then I was just lying on the trampoline watching her, right? And she was just jumping around. She loves jumping. It's just her favorite thing is just jumping all the time. I was looking at her and I had this thought like, this might be the last time that I have a little kid. I don't know. You
Hmm.
know, like I don't know if we'll have more kids. I want more kids. I don't know. We never know. But I was like, this might be the last time I ever have a little kid. And I was just soaking in that moment of her jumping around. And then I had this other kind of thought come in that this is the purpose of my life, actually, right here, because this
Hmm.
is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done is just be
Yeah.
present and watch this kid jump around. This is the purpose. And I find more fulfillment in that than ever achieving anything, of it, giving any talks, you know, or changing lives, any of that. Nothing work, nothing has been more fulfilling than just this moment of being present. And then I decided like this is my new purpose of my life. Is just to enjoy, just be present and just watch this, right? And that was like a really like an esoteric kind of transcendental experience for me. And then my
Hmm.
son came out, my oldest, and he put our baby daughter on his back. And then he was jumping on the trampoline with her, right? And she was just having the best time ever, like jumping on the trampoline on you know your brother's back. And then my daughter, my second kid, came out, and she did the same thing, jumping with the baby. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Just to, but I could so easily have missed this. I could so easily have been like, I'm too busy to like hang out on the trampoline, which I've done. Like all of us have made those mistakes. I know, but I could have easily just, you know, just been inside and like, I'm too tired. But I really felt like this is the purpose of everything. And I don't want to miss this. And work and all the stuff, money, whatever we're dealing with, all that stuff is just, that's not life. That's just stuff that happens. You know, that's just external, and it's not the whole point. It's not our identity. It's just life, right? So
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's thanks, Benji. That's so awesome, and it's such a privilege.
yeah,
And I mean, at the same time, like you said, it's rough. Like sometimes I'm like, I feel like a child myself. Like, when do I get to take care of me? But uh, I mean, that's just sometimes we have to just, I guess, yeah, just be vulnerable. I mean, I know I need to ask for things more, ask for help, ask for breaks, and so on. But like you said, like, I really think there is so much in just these little moments. And kids don't need so much. Like, people who are working their butts
oh,
off to support their family, we don't need huge houses if that's what you're working for. Like,
mm,
you know what I love about a caravan is like I can
yeah,
see my whole family all the time. Of course, it
mhm,
can get frustrating in some ways, but
yeah,
I think it's also awesome.
yeah.
I
It
can
is
always
awesome.
see them. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think
And my
you
husband,
yeah, you and
yeah,
I,
my husband's working.
you know how most parents have that moment where they look at their kids and they're like, oh man, where did the time go? You know, I don't think we'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
that so much. Maybe sometimes, but I don't think we'll have that so much because it's like we are able to we're watching them and we're
Hmm.
trying to soak it in day by day. But a lot of parents like just objectively looking at the Western, you know, time schedule. It's like
Yeah.
2 full-time working parents, kids are in school from very young, like infancy, actually. Like 6 months in
Hmm.
America is like
Oy.
60%, or last time I checked, which was years ago, like 60% of kids at 6 months old are in
Oy.
daycare
Okay.
full-time, right, in the US. I mean, it's probably very similar around the world, but it's very minimal time that parents spend with their
Yeah.
kids. Very minimal, just brass tacks, statistically very, very low. And so
Yeah.
the if you don't have time to like go through those growing pains, then you know, it's like you need time together to surpass things. And I know that for my wife, for example, she went through this where like, you know, she's been a homemaker for our kids since, you know, for 11 years since her son was born. But she really went through this process. I observed in her where it was really hard for her just to be home all the time. Right. And I felt for her and she was really, yeah, it was hard. And then she had a process of just like accepting and kind of growing and succumbing some of her own limitations, right? And it was a beautiful process. And I realized that a lot of parents, men and fathers and mothers, don't get to go through that process because they haven't put the time in. to overcome this kind of self-limiting things. Because if you spend any time with kids, you'll be faced with your own demons. You'll see a reflection of yourself, but that takes time and intention. Otherwise, it becomes so easy to just kind of ignore it or like say I'm busy or just escape it. Same thing with couples, right? Couples that are too busy, they don't actually spend time together. Then it becomes too easy just to like sweep it under. It's like, okay, we'll talk about it later. And then it just doesn't get resolved. And then it kind of flares up later. And then you fight about it, but then you kind of just squash it under and you get busy, right? Uh, but it takes like the intentional time. This is why a lot of people, like couples, fight when they go on travel, like when they go on vacation together, because they're forced to spend time together, right? And now all this stuff comes out. I had this experience with my wife where I had the brilliant idea of doing tea time with her. This is a
Sounds
time,
nice.
this was like, I don't know, 3 years ago when we were not spending a lot of quality time together because she was really busy with the newborn baby. And then I was like, let's do tea time every night. Every night, we're going to do tea time. Such a great idea, right? She likes tea. We get quality time. And then we do it like twice. And she complained the whole time about me during tea time. And I was like, I hate tea time because all you do is complain about me. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like we're creating a space for the stuff to come out that needed to come out, but because we weren't like spending time together. And so instead of forcing everything to come out in tea time, we kind of just decided like let's spread out our time. So like let's try to just be present with each other throughout the day, like hug each other in this kitchen in the morning. Or it's more like honestly, it's me hugging her and she's just standing there like a Japanese woman. She's standing there like a stick. And it's just trying to make like little touch points throughout the day so we kind of spread out our connection. And that's been nice.
Hmm.
That's been nice for sure. Yeah. I feel like it just offended
Yeah,
all Japanese people everywhere. There's a cultural reality in which Japanese people are not very good at physical affection and receiving hugs, at least in the same way that Americans are. So there you go. That's a reality that we have to face.
that's how it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. We have two more questions.
Okay.
But
Let's
I,
go
I
through
want to
them.
just say those screen time practices, because it actually was really good stuff. Set clear boundaries, prioritize offline activities, use
Uh-huh.
screen time management tools, create screen-free zones, and be consistent. And the Benjy thing, also an option. Okay.
Right.
So, next one. This country has introduced strict minor mode regulations, which requires devices and apps to limit screen time.
Australia.
So
I don't know.
to 40 minutes to 2 hours. So it's basically a country, and they made
Yeah.
this all over. You're going to stick with Australia because I have some multiple choice
No, no, go
answers, or
ahead.
I can just. And there's also curfew.
Yeah.
All right. So
North Korea.
um, I don't know if they get to make those
Right.
options. I wonder if they have mobile phones. So is it Singapore? Is
Hmm.
it China? Is it Korea?
Shoot. China. Well, I don't know much
Yes,
about Singapore. Is China, right?
it's China.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically North Korea. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's China.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was impressed. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they're doing it nicely. I
Right,
don't
right.
know
Yeah, there's
enough
different ways
about
to look
China.
at that.
Yeah,
I know some people are like, "Oh, that's nice." Honestly, like my first thing is like, "Oh, that's nice. They're protecting their people." But I don't know enough about the Chinese government or culture to say
right.
that that's a healthy thing or
Exactly. Yeah. Hard to say. If someone from China is listening, please let us know what it's like.
yeah.
All right, last question. Which is true? Your phone secretly listens to your thoughts through brainwaves, or putting your phone on airplane mode boosts its camera quality? Or is it the last one? Your mobile phone is millions of times more powerful than the computer used during the Apollo 11 moon landing.
Okay. The last one I want to say is not true because I know it's true to an extent, but I don't think it's millions of times more advanced. That seems exaggerated. Um, but I know it's true to an extent. The first one was what was the first one?
secretly listening to your
It's
thoughts through
uh
brainwaves.
that's I don't know, possible. The second one I've never heard of, so I'm gonna go with that one, number 2.
Okay,
Airplane
so
mode
putting
makes the
your
camera
phone on
quality
airplane
better.
mode boosts its camera
Yes.
quality. Actually, it's the
Wow.
last one.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, okay, I have to check the millions.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just 1 million, I don't know. But
Yeah.
more powerful than the computer used during the Apollo 11 moon landing.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it was pretty basic stuff back then. A lot of the calculations were just done by people back then.
Mhm, mhm.
Have you seen this? I forget the name of the movie, but it's about like it's actually a really cool movie. How this really super smart African American lady was helping to land the people on the moon, and she was super good at math. She was
Mhm.
like the only one who could solve one equation, and it's just crazy to think like they were calculating so many things, and they didn't have like computers like we have today, and they could still get someone out on the moon. But yeah, now we have mobile phones which can do so much more in our hands. But we have to be so intentional, that's what we're teaching our kids and our family. Like it's about the intention and not getting lost in things, without intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm. Yeah. Thanks, Benji. I think you did pretty well. I mean, I think it was 7 out of 10 or something. I,
Nice.
I forgot to keep track, honestly.
You guys let me know how I did, or let Amelia know how I did.
Yeah. Let us know. Give us some
I feel like
feedback.
I missed the ones that are unimportant, and I got the important ones. I'll
Yeah, I
rationalize
think
that.
so
Yeah.
too. I mean, you impressed me, Benji. Like, I don't think I would have done as well as you did. And you guys, this was a pop quiz. He did not study for this. So you get extra points for that.
All right. Nice. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
ask questions about like my life and parenting and stuff, and
Okay.
then you're like, the World Health Organization. My gosh.
Yeah, I haven't studied your life yet. So
I see.
you'll have to
Why
send
is
me the
nobody?
whole
Why is I thought everyone
resume.
studied my life? What is going on here?
Yeah, I'll have to start with the
Yeah.
High Noon podcast, episode 1, and yeah, continue from there. All right. Thanks, Benji. It was really
Yep.
fun.
Anytime.
And yeah, enjoy those trampoline bounces, the Lego building.
Enjoy your
Yeah.
figuring out life one day at a time in your care.
Yeah. It is
It's
sometimes
like
like that. It
what
is.
problem what fire do we have to put out today? What's the problem today? Something
Yeah,
like
there are
that.
those days and then there are the peaceful days. Today was a peaceful one. Um, yeah, people are like, "Wow, it's totally not easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's true, but it's definitely memorable."
How many people
And that's
tell
what we
you
want.
how many people tell you, "Oh, I could never do that."
Oh yeah, lots of people. Lots of people say they don't trust themselves to do it. And that's also interesting. Or they just don't have the guts, they say.
I was talking with Andrew, the last podcast for the High Noon podcast, and then I was commenting on how when I tell people that I homeschool, the first thing they say is, "Oh, I could never do that." And it's always interesting because I'm not talking about you. Does that make sense? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not proposing like you should homeschool
I
or anything
see.
like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying
Okay.
I homeschool, and the first thing out of their mouth is, "Oh, I can never do that." It's just interesting how quickly sometimes the mind goes to reasons why I
Yeah.
could, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
it's to me, it like signals like lack of belief in themselves and like limiting beliefs about what's possible. And also there's like a hint of justification in there. It's like,
Hmm.
if you want to homeschool, you totally could. You just don't really want to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was
Yeah.
asking about the caravan life, because I imagine a lot of people are like, I could never. And you're homeschooling.
I mean, I said I could never do that to many things, but I
Yeah.
mean, now we're doing stuff and I think you could never say never.
Yeah.
It's your decision and
Don't say
so
that.
yeah. I also said
Interesting.
I could never homeschool.
Mm.
We're homeschooling.
Who was But then what happened? What changed?
What changed? I mean, yeah, I guess our perspective. I mean, we wanted our kids to be happy learning, and we saw that they weren't all happy learning in public school. So,
Mm,
yeah, that's what changed.
got it.
All right. We got to wrap up because I have baby calling me. Yeah.
Meeting with the
All
baby
right. Meeting with
to
the
run too.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
podcast
Thank you.
number 2.
All right.
Take care, Benji.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.